Yes! Oh, what a win. What a fucking great win. um, oh, that was so good. You know what? I said it was going to be a tight game. I thought Ireland would only win by three, and I've never been happier to be proven wrong. I'm so happy I was proven wrong. I was hoping it wouldn't be close. The predictions I give are not what I hope for, they're what I think will happen. And it was a combination of two things. I thought Scotland were going to be a lot better than what they were, and I also thought Ireland weren't going to, be as consistent as they were. Like, they had droughts there, and I was like, fuck me, this is getting too tight. When Blair Kinghorn kicked over his second penalty, and it was 11-17, I was like, oh no, this is too close. My heart's going to give out. The nerves, but I've never been happier to be wrong. It was like, I got the Ireland win at least. I predicted that. I'm happy enough. I knew Ireland would win. By how much, I wasn't quite sure. But fair fucks, they did brilliantly in the end. Um, Sam Prendergast take a bow. That was outstanding. Like, at that age to show up like he did, he was brilliant. I thought, like, when I was thinking yesterday, I'd probably put Finn Smith in the team of the week, but Sam Prendergast has played himself into that hands down. He was outstanding. He really rose to the occasion. He was brilliant. Only missed one kick. Fair fucks. I think he got 5 from 6. That's incredible. Um, Brilliant performance, and he's put himself on the map well and truly. He was brilliant. So good. It was a great team performance. Andrew Porter was outstanding again. The drop off when Kane Healy comes on, because Will Hurd, the tight head for Scotland, is not a great player. No disrespect to the lad, the reason why he comes on so late for Ferguson, Xander Ferguson, that is because he is nowhere near the same level as Xander Ferguson, and look, you need players to do a job, but Porter was getting the hit and dominating them, instantly. Ferguson was kind of holding Porter at bay for a little bit. Now Porter got the upper hand, was brilliant in that game. Finley Bealham, really good game, great turnover, did brilliantly. Hookers were a little bit hit and miss now for Ireland, but the front row did a job. They did very well. Clarkson didn't put a foot wrong and made tackles, rolled away quick, so he didn't get pinged. I feel like you're losing an awful lot down that loose head side with Kane Healy. He was weak in the scrum. He lost one to Will Hurd, who I said is nowhere near the same calibre of player as Xander Ferguson, and Healy folded and lost his point. Got driven back at the tackle. He wasn't nearly good enough. He just isn't good anymore, and that's no disrespect to him. He's nearly 38. Like, it's hard to keep playing that position. We need new blood. That could cost us in games. Scotland got a try because of a poor scrum. Healy giving away a penalty. They get the upper hand. It's just not good enough anymore. And Murray needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck more. That's two games. Like, we do it all the time where we just give the ball back to the opposition when there's less than a minute to go. You cannot do that. And, like, here's the thing where I'll be critical of Ireland. They switched off against England in the first 10 minutes, the last 5 minutes, and just before half time in that game, they would have gone in at half time, 17-0 up. There was 8 seconds left when Doris picked that ball and went, and Bundyaki dove straight off his feet. That's unacceptable, at this level. You really can't do that. Wasn't good enough, and then we hand them a try. Duhan van der Merwe scoring in the corner. It's not good enough. We've got to do better than that. Giving them 5 points, giving them the upper hand. The crowd will be on your back. You're letting Scotland into the game easily, and then we can see 2 penalties straight after half time. But fair fucks, they dug deep. Like, 14-point win, I'm delighted. I didn't care how much we won by as long as we won. So I was 11 points off with that prediction, but I predicted an Ireland win. That's all I care about. I've never been happier to be wrong, and also to shut Gregor Townsend up. I just don't like Scotland's attitude. I really don't. Ben White never shut up. Rather than playing the game, if you play the game, you might win. When the referee's talking to Rory Darge and he walks off, like, just pure ignorance. Finn Russell, I'm just gonna say it, he was brutal when he was on. I hope Darcy Graham's alright. Massive bang to the head. I hope he's okay. So genuinely hope the fella's alright, and I don't wish any ill will on Russell. I know he went off with a knock. I hope he recovers, but in rugby terms, he was so bad. He had a shocker. His kicking was terrible. He knocked the ball on about 3 times. he was very poor. I have nothing positive to say about him because he didn't give me anything positive at all. I think Will Jordan or is it Tom Jordan? Yeah, the 12 for Scotland. Now his second name is Jordan. I think it's Tom Jordan. Um, Looks like a better player. Stafford McDowell, to be fair to him, when he came on, was good. Put himself about, set up a try for um, Duhan van der Merwe just before half time. So, no, he was actually quite good. Big tackles as well. He definitely looked like an improvement, in that area. But Finn Russell, what a shocker. You call yourself the Messi of rugby. I know he has it in him to have a great game. I'm just going to say it. It's great news that Sam Prendergast is playing the way he is. If he can keep that up, I think there's a shout for him starting for the Lions. Like, this is coming out of the blue, but he's been chucked in the deep end. It's a real sink or swim thing, and he had an okay game, not a bad game. He held his own against England. I think people need to remember he's only 21, and I think it's quite harsh throwing him in the deep end. I still think he's quite young. A lot of pressure, a lot of pressure, but he stepped up big time. Like, he was fucking great. So good, and 11 in a row against Scotland. Oh, as I say, I don't mind Scottish people, but there's just something about that rugby team I can't stand. Like, even an incident in that game now where Tyburn was holding the ball, and Scotland could have gone quick with a penalty. Matt Fagerson came in and elbowed him to the neck. I don't care what anyone says. I understand he's holding the ball. He shouldn't hold it. He should give it back to you. I know I've been in that situation myself in games. You're like, give me the fucking ball. Give me the ball. I want to go quick. And you rip it off him. If you want to shove him, no problem. Shove him. Grab the ball and shove him. That's perfectly fine. He comes in with a fucking elbow. He caught him round the head, definitely. That was dirty. That was a cheap shot. And I feel like that happens to Irish players a lot. I've said it before with England. I feel like because Ireland are so skillful, they're good. Now they're getting confidence. But they're not necessarily the biggest team. People feel like, they feel like they can bully us and have a go at us. And I feel like he was lucky to get away without having at least a talking to by the ref. If anyone wants to say that Henshaw got away with that knock on, so did Scotland in the first half. Both teams had one. Jordan knocked it forward. It was Hugh Jones, I think. Both, I think, were attempts to wrap by both players. Scrum, I thought the referee got that spot on. Calvin Nash did very well. So did James Lowe. It's going to be hard to call the team of the week. There's too many players stepping up in that game. Kinghorn was alright in parts. Felt like he didn't get involved enough though. What else? Yeah, look, we won by 14 points in Murrayfield. You're never going to be upset. What are your thoughts on that Duhan van der Merwe yellow card? Could it have been a penalty try? Don't know. I'll leave it for you to decide, but certainly think if van der Merwe's not there, Nash is over the line, he's quick. Like, it didn't cost us in the end, but just saying, you decide. Tyburn, just such a nuisance, really good at annoying the opposition. He's brilliant at it. Did really well. Caelan Doris stepped up, had a much better game than he did last week. And the Irish back row in general were the dominant back row. Darge did not get a look in that game. He was completely quiet. Didn't hear him at all, really. He was very poor, actually. Scotland were very poor, and I was expecting a much better game from them. I thought they were going to challenge us. I was nervous about this game today, which is why I went with a very, very tight game. I did not think we'd pull away by as much as we did, but I'm delighted we fucking did. No, I'm over the fucking moon. Really happy. And look, we've players of all shapes and sizes, I was going to say. Now we have the bonus point try that we got, and I'm really happy we got that. I was thinking Ireland should just put the ball off the field, like here's the thing that I think is bad game management. First of all, letting Scotland score when there's only 8 seconds left in the first half, 17-0 up. You let them score before half time. It's the age-old saying, if a team scores just before half time, their heads are up. That gave Scotland an advantage. I thought to myself, Doris should not be picking and going from that. What you do is, Gibson Park, you wait until the ref says you use it. You get a good platform, you throw the ball out to the back line, they give a few passes, the clock's up, maybe even go behind the goal line. You know, when players, when it's full time, normally they run behind the goal line and then they boot the ball into the stand. Do that. Why the fuck are you running straight at players, getting yourself isolated? You know, and like he made a dominant carry and it was a good carry, but the problem with that is you get yourself isolated when you make a very dominant carry, meaning the opposition can get over and jackal the ball, and Scotland were going for that jackal. Peter O'Mahony and Peter O'Mahony, Jack Conan, who was brilliant again, and Finlay Bealham. With if you're looking out the jackal, three world class jackals by those players. Really good technique, you know, really getting over as soon as the player's down, lifting that ball. As a former back rower, it got me excited. I felt like Bealham had a really good game. He should have had two turnovers that the ref didn't give him one that he really should have done. Tyburn with choke tackles, putting them under pressure, making them knock on the ball. He was fucking brilliant again. You love Tyburn, not just because he's the same surname as me, but because of what he gives to the team. James Ryan does what James Ryan does, the dog work for the team. You know, he really does. Thought Dan Sheehan and Ronan Kelleher didn't have their best game, you know, if I'm being honest. Kelleher and Sheehan were both excellent last week, but this week, not as much. And I guess because they're, especially Kelleher, he's a bigger physical presence, and England are bigger and stronger than Scotland would be. Like, Scotland moved it around, and Ireland kept them out loads of times. Henshaw and Aki did not have the best game for me. That centre partnership, I feel like they're both too heavy to be in there together. I feel like they can get done for pace. As strong and as powerful as Aki is, I feel like Ringrose is the perfect 13 because you need to balance it out. And I talked about this before, but Matthew Bastareaud, who was a massive man, like could play number 8, looked like a prop playing at centre, but had so much bulk and power. You know, an absolute machine to carry with. But the problem is, he's bigger, he's heavier, he's slower. You know, like he was 19 stone, 10 pounds at one stage. Like, that's a heavy man, so you could step him. You don't want to run straight into him because he'll smash you. But Jonathan Dante would be a crash ball centre as well. And what they were doing was they were putting Dante at 12 and Bastareaud at 13. And then they were getting done for pace, so you chip the ball in behind them. They're big men having to turn. Dante not as big as Bastareaud. I think they're both Guadalupean, if I'm not mistaken. But I feel like that was a problem for us. Hugh Jones is quick, and so is Tom Jordan, and we were getting done a few times when they broke. Henshaw is just too slow. Aki is not that type of player. Ringrose is the quicker, pacier of the two centres, and his knowledge of the game is so good. I feel like Henshaw is more like a crash ball player, and he's had lots of injuries, so he's much slower. Really didn't see enough from him. You know, both the Irish centres I felt like were poor. Aki had his moments now where he straightened up, carried and got us over the gain line, but I feel like our back three were very good. Keenan, James Lowe and Calvin Nash. I was delighted to see Calvin Nash in. Nothing against Mac Hansen, but I think Nash has actually been performing better. I mean, and he starts and he scores a try. You know, when he started his first Ireland game against France, had a quiet enough game, but got a try. You know, against Italy, he scored a try. He is in flying form for Munster. He's such a good player, and he's like fucking lightning. He's so fast. Like, if you kick the ball ahead, his speed is unbelievable. Nash the Flash, we should call him. I'm patenting that name. Nash the Flash. He's so quick, and he gets up so well. That's a really good competition for the ball. Hansen's good under the high ball too. Like, I mean, remember that try he scored against France in Paris, where he just plucked it out of the sky. James Lowe's aerial ability, I feel like he's showing us up. You say he's not Irish, but he caught that ball like a GAA player just over the head. Nah, he's been outstanding the last 2 weeks, and I feel like as good as Nash was, it's gonna be hard. Like, the wingers have really upped their game this week. It's good to see that both our wingers scored tries. I'm really happy with that. See, we tend to. Let me take a deep breath. I'm so excited. Yeah, so we got 4 tries. We got the bonus point anyway. 2 backs and 2 forwards. Yeah, not too bad. You know, like, that's good. It's kind of looking at other teams, like, it's just something that I've been saying before, where I feel like we rely on our forwards a bit too much. You know, like, and where I feel like the back three were good. Gibson Park are one of his more quiet games, but he's still be so important to us. You know. I feel like our centres were missing. I feel like there's always a player not pulling their weight in the back line. And look, you're not going to have a great game every week, that's fair enough. But yeah, it feels like we rely too much on our forwards. And when you look at other teams, like even look at France, they scored three of the tries against England and they were all by backs. Louis B. Elbery was brilliant, even though France were not great and were, you know, sloppy with their hands. And you don't expect that from the French. Um, yeah, like it's normally the back score, and just pausing for thought here. Just looking at England, Tommy Freeman scored, had a great game, was really good. Slide nearly scored. He also was very good. Um, just thinking who else. Ollie Lawrence, of course, getting a try. Elliot Daly finishing off with a try. Finn Baxter, the replacement, Lou said, getting a try. But you see that one forward scores, three backs. It's normally the backs that score, and I don't think Ireland do enough with that. Prendergast got them firing though, and that was really good. You look at Italy against Wales. Now, Wales are just getting tries wherever they can. I feel like they had to go for the forwards and score, but that's the thing. You expect more with Ireland. Like Aaron Wainwright trucking his way over to get a try, and Capozzo, the right winger, scoring for Italy. Backs score most of the tries. As they always say, the forwards decide who wins the game, the backs decide by how much. And now with Prendergast kicking, it was brilliant. But both wingers scoring tries, I'm glad to see that because you need your wingers scoring, and both of them getting tries is excellent. It really is. I feel like Lowe had another great game, 3 assists in the previous game, and he was very good. He was excellent, really good. Yeah, yeah, I'm just so happy, really am. There's that animosity against the Scots, them and us. They've been saying, where does the arrogant thing come from? Well, it's from Blair Kinghorn, like saying Ireland have had a great run, but we'll end that kind of thing. So, look, it's rugby rivalry, it's a bit of a laugh. 11 in a row against Scotland gets in. Not deservedly, Sam Prendergast getting man the match on the bench again. Although it has to be said, I'd say actually they did their job. Like they definitely freshened things up, and having Crowley on, he took a few great high balls. Ringrose just made things look more ashore. Sheehan had a quiet game, but he's only back. Look, he's brilliant. He's outstanding, and he came back and scored a try against England. I'm not going to criticise him at all. Clarkson was solid, and that's what you want with a tight head. Healy, not so much. Murray, Jack Conan, brilliant. I am actually tempted to put him not on the bench this week, put him straight into the best team because he was outstanding. Jackal turnover, tackles, big carries, try. He has it all. Controversial selection, people call him. Why? Because he's great. Because he always plays well. Ryan Baird's just not doing enough for me. Looks like a headless chicken at times when he's running around. O'Mahony gave a great shift, in fairness. Sometimes he looks like he's out in his last legs, but man, you cannot fault his commitment. He is a warhorse, as they call it. Like, you will never fault him, ever for effort. He's brilliant in that regard. He's an out and out flanker, like he'll come off the pitch covered in blood, bruises, got a brilliant turnover, he puts himself about into everything. He never shies away from the physical stuff. And you love him. You have to love him for that. Just that fight and determination. Ty Byrne, brilliant as he said. Doris really led from the front today, in fairness to him, and we dug deep. At times when we had to, when it was only 6 points in the match, we dug deep and we did very well. Éire Dunville. I'm so happy. 5 from 5, 5 points from 5. We've got to shore up games though. We've got to really shore the game up and not allow soft scores. Like 8 seconds and you've got a scrum before half time. You just slow the fucking thing down. You don't worry about getting yards. I know it was a good carry by Doris, but don't get isolated from your attack. Your players are beside you. Just if you get driven backwards, so be it. Put the ball dead. Like, that's 2 tries now conceded against England in the last 5 minutes. 1 try in the first 10, so 15 minutes of the game. And as you say, we conceded 19 points. And then against Scotland, 8 seconds before half time, we concede 5 points. And then as soon as the second half starts, we concede the first 6 points of the game in the second half. The replacements just not being good enough, in some areas like Murray and Healy. Murray should be closing those games out more. That's up to him to do that, and he's just not doing it. He doesn't have that ability to do it anymore. Healy just doesn't have anything left in the tank from what I can see. He looks exhausted, and he's only on the pitch for about... He was on for 10 minutes max in that game, and he looked wrecked. He just can't do the big minutes anymore, and that's not his fault. It's a difficult position. He's gotten loads of injuries. It's time for new blood. It'll cost us, and it could in big games. We are going to be tested against that French pack. I know we have a break and then we have Wales. I'm hoping Tyke Furlong is back, and I'm hoping that we get some new blood in because we're going to need it. How great a player Andrew Porter is. I looked at this actually, and I just want to say this is at 64 minutes in the game, and he definitely had more contributions because he always does. He was solid in the scrum, 1 penalties and all. Bealham was very good as well, but Rory Darge is a 7, like a back rower. And Andrew Porter had more tackles than him, and Ireland were dominating the game, and still Andrew Porter had more tackles. That means that when he's needed, he shows up. That's fucking outstanding. 16 tackles at 64 minutes. And Rory Darge behind him at 15. And Scotland have been defending a lot of the game against us, and he's an open side flanker, right? So the attacking team, whenever we were down, Andrew Porter was there, charging Ben White down. Fucking incredible. He's an outstanding player. We need him so much. I think we need to appreciate how great a player he is, and realise that if he gets injured, the next best player coming in is nowhere near his level. Keep that man fit, because without him, we're screwed. We are, he's that good. We need him. Right, lads. Slán fall. That's going to do it for that one. Well done, Ireland. I'm fucking delighted. That was a brilliant performance. Outstanding. And next video will be the team of the week. And I'll get to you in a second.